Welcome aboard, everybody. Welcome aboard to Lighten Up Cooking, where I take a traditional dish and lighten it up by decreasing sugar or carbohydrates or salt or fat without sacrificing great taste. Today I'm going to make buffalo cauliflower. Now this is the meatless version of the buffalo boneless wings that are so popular in restaurants nowadays. I started with a large head of cauliflower that I have cut, and I tried to get most of my pieces to be the same size. I'm using about half of my cauliflower. I'm saving all of the stems and the stalks from the cauliflower. I'm going to wash these and make vegetable stock. So it might be something you want to embrace as you use your raw vegetables. This way nothing goes to waste. So this is for vegetable stock, for your stews, for soups, your baked meats. For anywhere it says add water, you can add vegetable stock. So I thought I'd give you all that little tip. So I'm using about half of the head of the cauliflower, and I'm going to make a batter for the cauliflower because I'm going to bake it in the oven. I'm going to start with a half of a cup of oat flour. This is the brand that I'm using, the Bob's Red Mill brand, oat flour. Half of a cup. You can use white flour if that's all you have. A teaspoon of garlic powder and onion powder, and salt and pepper to taste. Now I'm not adding any salt because the buffalo sauce is going to have salt, so I'm not adding any salt to this. 3/4 cups of milk. I'm using almond milk, but you can use whatever milk you choose. So I'm going to make my batter. I'm just using a little bit of the milk to start with because I don't want it too watery. I think that's enough. I probably used about half. Okay. So now I'm going to take my cauliflower and just mix it in my batter. I preheated my oven to 400, and I have a baking sheet here that I have lined with parchment paper, and I'm going to put the cauliflower on the parchment paper. You want just a little batter because you want this to get crispy and brown on the outside and still be kind of tender on the inside. So give it a good mixture and coat each spear pretty good. So now I'm going to dip all of this out onto my baking sheet. All on here. whatever seasonings you want to add to your batter. Just use whatever you decide you want to use. I'm just using salt, not salt, onion powder, garlic powder, and pepper. No salt. Okay. Now I'm going to bake this for 10 minutes on a 400-degree oven, and then I'm going to flip them over and bake them for another 10 minutes, or maybe longer. It depends on how crispy they are after 20 minutes. And so while this is baking, I'm going to make the buffalo sauce. So for the buffalo sauce, I'm starting with half of a stick of unsalted butter. Let me get you all in closer. Ooh, that's a little hot. Let that melt. I mean for it to brown that much, it's saying it's hot. I'm going to go ahead and put the hot sauce. I'm using the entire bottle. This is a 12-ounce bottle of hot sauce that I'm going to put in the entire bottle. This is the Aldi brand that I'm using. I'm using this Aldi brand because I like the amount of heat that it has. It's not too hot, but hot enough. Okay. To that, I'm going to add a half of a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. You could use white vinegar if that's all you got. Half a teaspoon. And a teaspoon of onion powder. Put that in there. And a teaspoon of garlic powder. Stir that around. A teaspoon of paprika. I'm just using regular paprika. You could use the smoked paprika if you wanted to. This is just regular paprika. Just gives it some more color. A deeper color, I should say. Alright. And a half of a teaspoon of black pepper. If you want to add salt at this point, you could. But I'm not going to add any salt because this hot sauce is salty enough. So you let that cook down for a little bit. And then you want to give it a taste to see if you need to add anything else. I think it needs a hint of sweetener. So I'm going to put in some raw honey. I'm going to do about a teaspoonful to begin with. You could do some no sugar added granulated sweetener if you wanted to. But honey is fine. and give it another taste. It's really potent. I think I'm gonna put a little bit more of the honey, maybe another teaspoon, maybe a tablespoon. Now you could add some cayenne pepper or red pepper flakes if you need more heat. This doesn't need more heat. It just needs a little sweetener to kind of ease out the vinegar and the hot sauce. Okay. It's getting there. Now with the cauliflower, I end up roasting it for about 40 minutes. 20 minutes on one side, and then 20 minutes, flipped it, and then 20 minutes on the other side. I also removed the parchment paper because it was keeping the cauliflower from getting brown, because I wanted to have some brown edges. So I removed the parchment paper, and then I sprayed it with some cooking spray. So next time I will just omit the parchment paper. All right, we're gonna go back to the sauce, and what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add the cauliflower to the sauce and just coat it real good. Like that. Give it a good stir. Okay, and now I'm going to take it out and put it in a dish. Like that. Now you could, at this point, if you wanted to, I could put this back into the oven and let that sauce cook down and brown up a little bit. But I think for now, I'm just going to leave it as it is. And then you got extra sauce for dipping or whatever. I'm going to take some of my cauliflower. Look at that presentation. I got ranch, homemade ranch dressing. Celery and carrot sticks. Now always, I like to steam my carrot sticks so they don't be so hard. Just steam them a little bit. They are crunchy, but not quite as hard. So that's how I like to do my carrot sticks. Let's do a sample here. Dip it into the ranch. Perfect for snack. As an appetizer. And for those of you who like to do the meatless Mondays or whatever day of the week that you decide to not to eat meat, which I think is a great idea, and I do it from time to time. Just pick a day, just eat vegetables, no meat. This is great for that as well. Thank you all for watching, and for all of my new followers and subscribers on Facebook and YouTube, thank you so much for coming on board with me. And thank all of you for your participation. And until next time, share a smile with someone. It will lighten up their spirit and yours too. Bye now.